Executive Magazine, independent thinking for the discerning mind.
Lebanon's banks have experienced decades of strong growth and today hold about $120 billion in deposits. That's 3 times the size of the Lebanese economy. The banking sector is seen as the strongest pillar of the economy, meaning that its fortunes and those of the country are inextricably linked. Over the past year, however, performance has suffered, and that's partly due to regional instability and tighter international regulations. Profit growth in Lebanon's banking sector dropped 3% in 2011 and another 4% in the first quarter of this year.
Lebanese banks are in a challenging environment because of the narrowing of their spread margins, and this will continue.
A decline on global interest rates to near zero has reduced Lebanese banks' returns in international markets. But even more alarming are these falling figures. While 2009 saw a total deposit growth of 23%, it was nearly cut in half the following year. It sunk even further in 2011, and in the first quarter of this year, we have seen deposits grow by just 2%. And it appears the numbers are continuing to shrink.
There are various reasons for this slowdown that range anywhere from the domestic political shock of the early 2001 and the uncertainties until the formation of the government, and continuing uncertainties domestically, plus the regional turmoil, specifically the turmoil in Syria and the continuing turmoil there.
Lebanon's banks have expanded to 33 countries around the world. And before last year, Syria topped that list. The unrest next door, however, has come at a cost.
At the end of 2010, the business plans of the Syrian affiliates of Lebanese banks included, opening new branches, offering new products, increasing lending to the private sector, to the retail level, to corporates, getting involved in public-private in financing public-private partnerships or project finance. And that has changed, obviously, completely with the start of turmoil.
At present, there are 7 Lebanese banks with affiliates in Syria. Deposits and loans in those banks have been falling since the beginning of the uprising there. And while those affiliates make up only 4% of Lebanon's banking sector assets, the wider repercussions from tightening U.S. and EU economic sanctions on Syria are increasingly worrying.
I'm not with saying that the Lebanese market now is a channel for Syrians to overcome illegally the sanctions. I don't think so. I know that the Lebanese market now is very prudent in dealing with the Syrians in general.
Lebanese bankers say it is in their own interest to comply. Last year, one Lebanese bank was forced to be bought out after the U.S. merely accused it of laundering money to Hezbollah. With U.S. dollars accounting for some 65% of money circulation, the last thing banks want to do is rub Uncle Sam the wrong way.
If the sanctions don't allow U.S. banks to deal with Syrian residents, we make sure that we don't do any transaction in dollars. We can do a euro transaction, we can do a dirham transaction, we cannot do a dollar transaction because we don't want to circumvent the sanctions, because otherwise our correspondent will be in trouble and we'll be in trouble. So we have to abide.
The reputation of Lebanese banks and the banking secrecy they have gained a reputation for is also coming under fire. Amid a new wave of international measures concerning tax evasion, Lebanon's banks are bracing themselves for the IRS-led initiative called FATCA, or Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act.
In the light of FATCA, and since we have to report the accounts of our clients, our banking clients here in Lebanon, we will have to let them sign lifting banking secrecy. I think that this will not remove the banking secrecy as a whole, but rather it will add a new, let's say, exception on the banking secrecy system here in Lebanon.
In an effort to crack down on overseas tax cheats, FATCA will require up to 117 million U.S. taxpayers living abroad to report their assets to the IRS. and their banks are expected to track them down, report them, and withhold payments if they don't, which could land hundreds of billions of dollars on the IRS's doorstep.
This is a tax that is a legal tax for which people should abide. I can say only that banks and financial institutions do not have another choice.
Bankers agree this is out of their hands, but could be taxing on the more than 20,000 residents in Lebanon and other foreign account holders under scrutiny.
There are many people who have accounts in Lebanon and are U.S. citizens. But what we try to tell our bankers internally is this is their problem, it is not ours. We will be strictly abiding by the rule. If clients do not close their accounts, we are going to disclose everything. If people ask you how they can overturn this, we will give no advice, we have no idea, and we don't even think there is any way to avoid it.
In light of the slumps visible in the banking sector, we set out to ask consumers if they're feeling the pinch.
There are lots of rumors in Lebanon about the banking system being in a bad situation, or we might see banks going bankrupt. But I think they're only rumors.
I feel very safe.
I have feared just like anyone else that there are a lot of bank robberies, and the banks just say we're bankrupt. What can we do?
I think really the banking system, that's the only one remain really safe here in Lebanon. So we hope we will be able to maintain this, this banking system as security, for the Lebanese people.
And the security both bankers and their customers are looking for can only come from the country's fractious politicians.
If you have measures to increase consumer confidence, starting with political stability and security, better security conditions, you will see consumer confidence increase, which means their propensity to spend will increase. And that will encourage business sentiment as well to invest more and expand. And that will help economic growth. And in turn, that will help provide opportunities for banks.
While Lebanese banks have managed to keep their profits above water, despite the global financial crisis and regional turmoil, the question is, will they continue to slide as they face a plethora of challenges stemming from both inside and outside the country? With such issues looming on the horizon, the sector is at a pivotal crossroads, and which way it turns will determine its, if not Lebanon's, economic future for years to come. Jazan Masad, Executive Media.